Hello everyone. Good afternoon. Today I am going to start with the introduction and basic level of the full stack Python day 1 session. So what is Python and why to learn full stack? Today this is a day 1 session. What is Python? It is a high-level interpreted programming language. It is created by Guido van Rossum in 1991. Basically, Python is very known for its simplicity and readability. It supports multi-program paradigms like procedural, object-oriented, and functional. What is procedural? If I want to write a Python programming in the modular way, for example, module 1, module 2, module 3, why should we write in the procedural way? For example, I'm going to write 1,000 lines of code. So finally, to find the error of the program, I'm finding very difficult. So when I'm going to make it as a modular programming like a procedural, so that I'll come to know from this procedure 1, I'm getting this error. Procedure 2, I'm getting this error. It will be easy for us to debug the code. In the object-oriented programming, you are going to connect the real-world objects into the Python programming. So the real-world objects can be the pen, camera, car, everything. So how to use these real-world objects, how to do programming in Python. That is called object-oriented programming. Functional or similar to the procedural, but here we'll be writing the Python functions. Python functions has got its own syntax and main purpose is you are going to maintain the reusable code or logic which is written in the single place and it can be used multiple times inside a program. That is the concepts behind the multiple programming paradigms, kind of a procedural, object-oriented, and functional. Features of Python. Very easy to learn and to write. It is a very beginner-friendly code. It is open source. You can download this from any on the website and you can use it for free. Huge library support. Python has got 1 lakh modules, more than 1 lakh modules and libraries, which is used for the many different operations of the Python programming. Here I have mentioned few examples of NumPy, Pandas, Django, and Flask. Cross-platform. It works on Windows, Linux, Mac, Ubuntu, etc. Community support. Active developers over the worldwide, they are having their Python own community support where they will provide their own code. So if you are going to develop your own programming, not other than the organization project, you can take the support of the community to work on this. So for example, the visual icons for libraries, community platforms, Python applications, web development, data science and AI, automation and scripting, game development, IoT and embedded system. So in web development, we'll be using the framework of Python called Django and Flask. Using this, we'll be doing the web development. In data science and AI, mainly we'll be using these libraries called Pandas, NumPy and TensorFlow. Using this only, we'll be using the data science operations and AI operations. Automation and scripting. For example, I want to do some testing, manual testing. Usually we used to do the manual testing, but we want to do some testing to be done using this automation purpose. Wherever the background script we are going to use is a Python. So for doing some automation purpose, we are going to do a background scripting which is Python. So for this purpose, we are going to write some Python code. Game development. Kids are always engaged in the game development. And of course, adults also sometimes they do some game development. For this game development, of course, mainly the game development are done by the adults and they use the Python scripting to do this game development. IoT, Internet of Architecture and Embedded Systems, are developed using this Python scripting. So for this IoT and embedded systems, whatever the library is supported by Python, that will be used and that will be downloaded from those respective packages and those actions will be implemented. What is full stack development? Development of both front end and back end of an application. What is front end? I'm going to have some UI. So what the user is going to see in the HTML page, that is called front end. The user will be able to see what are the inputs they can give in the page. That is basically HTML page, which is embedded with CSS, JS, and React. So HTML is a UI where the user can see, they can provide inputs. And the HTML page will be designed using the CSS, JavaScript, and React. Backend, it's a server. For example, if it is a Django framework, it is a Django server. Database default comes as a SQLite database. Business logic is Python, Node.js, SQL. In this Python Django framework, we will use the business logic scripting only in Python. Database can be the SQLite database and server is the Django server. Full stack developer, he handles the entire project end-to-end. Visual, simple diagram showing front-end to back-end to database. So, the first page is the UI where the user is going to see what and all the inputs he can give. It is basically developed using HTML, CSS, JS, and React, JavaScript, and React. The backend and the Django server, we have to make the Django server on. We have to access the Django server and particular URL. It has to connect to the database. Whenever the business logics, which is written using the Python, if the user gives some input, the business logic understand the user requirements, go back to the database, take the inputs, and throw back the response to the user. This is the overall performance of the full stack development. Why to learn full stack? High demand job role. It is versatile and in high demand. It is a hot cake in the market. Build complete applications independently. You are going to build this application independently, which runs in one server or one machine. It is not dependent on the other machines. Better understanding of the project flow. So what is the project flow here? You are going to have some front end, give some request. The Python scripting is going to accept your request. It is going to talk to the server. It is going to talk to the database through the server. It gets back the response from the database, and through the server, it is to throw back the response to your user level. So, user interaction. The Python scripting is going to take care of the communication between the user and the database through the Django server. If the matching records are there in the database, it will get the response throw back to the user. If the response is not there, the matching records are not there, it is going to throw the response. There are no matching records to the user end through the Django server. This is the project flow. High salary potential compared to the single stack developer. Single stack development means only one UI will be there. There won't be the backend server or backend database. You will just have the static HTML page. Entrepreneur opportunities, they launch their own projects. Job chart, salary icon, application diagram. These are the small mini examples of this full stack. How Python helps in full stack? Backend development with Django and Flask. There exactly the Python comes into the picture. Easy integration with the database like MySQL, MongoDB. It supports REST APIs and single server logic. Not only the normal APIs, it also supports the REST APIs, REST framework. How to work with the REST API and what are the objects we use to maintain for this REST API, you will understand deep in the course. Rapid development with a less boilerplate code. Boilerplate code means like it is a kind of a template you are going to use. Rather than the rapid development will be done with the less template in the front end that is different. The template what you are going to use in the Python scripting is different. It is going to help us for the rapid development of the project. Strong support for data handling and AI integration. It helps us to handle the data as well as to integrate with the AI technology. Example, Python logo connected to the backend and database icons. So this is how the Python helps in the full stack. Summary. Basically, Python is a very easy, powerful, and versatile programming language. In the full stack, it is where it is more prominent is complete web application development is getting done using Python. Learning Python plus full stack, high demand plus career growth. So this is about the small introductory sessions of what is Python, what is Python, what are the features of Python, what are the Python applications, what is full stack development, why to learn full stack development, and how Python helps in full stack development, and what is the summary of this first day one trial. So in this day one, you understood some what is about Python, about full stack, how Python integrates with the full stack. In the day two, we will go in more detail about this. I hope this session finds interesting for you. Thank you all.